July 23, 2008, San Francisco, a software engineer named David Morrison tried to buy groceries at Safeway. His credit card was declined. He tried another card, declined. He tried his debit card, declined. The entire payment network had crashed, not just for him. For millions of people simultaneously, ATMs were offline. Card readers showed error messages. Cash was the only thing that worked, and most people didn't have any. This wasn't a third world country. This was America, and it lasted for 6 hours that felt like 6 days. You probably don't carry cash anymore. Most people don't. You tap your phone, swipe your card. Everything is digital, convenient, trackable, and completely dependent on systems that can fail at any moment. I'm going to show you what happens when those systems stop working, when the infrastructure we've built our entire economy on simply shuts down, and why you're far more vulnerable right now than you realize. Before we continue, drop a comment telling me how much cash you have in your wallet right now, and smash that subscribe button because this channel prepares you for the failures the system doesn't want you to see coming. Let me paint you a picture of what your day looks like when credit cards stop working. You wake up and try to buy coffee on your way to work. Card declined. You think it's a mistake. Maybe your bank flagged the transaction. You try to use Apple Pay. Doesn't work. You check your banking app. It won't load. You finally realize this isn't just you. This is everyone. The entire digital payment infrastructure has failed. You need gas to get to work. The pump only accepts cards. There's no attendant to take cash. Because gas stations haven't had human cashiers in years, you're stuck. You can't get to work. You can't buy food. You can't pay for anything. And the cash in your wallet, if you have any, suddenly becomes the most valuable thing you own, more valuable than the thousands of dollars showing in your bank account that you can't access. Your job depends on the payment system working. If you work retail, there are no sales without card readers. If you're in restaurants, nobody can pay their bills. If you're in any service industry, your income stops immediately. Businesses start sending people home because there's no point staying open when customers can't pay. Within hours, unemployment spikes as the entire service economy grinds to a halt. The grocery store becomes a nightmare. Long lines of people trying to pay with cash. Most people don't have enough. They're abandoning carts full of food they can't buy. Fights break out over the few cashiers who can process cash transactions. Stores start running out of change. They begin refusing large bills. The sophisticated just-in-time inventory system that feeds America depends on digital payments. When those stop, the whole supply chain seizes up. Let me tell you what happened in India in November 2016. The government demonetized 86% of currency overnight and pushed everyone toward digital payments. Then the digital systems couldn't handle the load. They crashed repeatedly. People couldn't buy food, couldn't pay for medicine, couldn't access their own money. The informal economy that employed hundreds of millions of people simply stopped functioning. Farmers couldn't sell crops, workers couldn't get paid, families went hungry despite having money in banks they couldn't access. Your mortgage payment is automatic, your car payment is automatic, your utilities are automatic, your insurance is automatic. Your entire financial life runs on autopilot through digital payment systems. When those systems fail, the autopilot crashes, payments don't process, late fees accumulate, services get cut off, and you're powerless to fix it because you can't access your money to pay bills manually. The psychology of this is devastating. You've done everything right. You have money in the bank. You have good credit. You pay your bills, but none of that matters when the system that connects your money to the real economy stops working. You're as helpless as someone who's broke. Actually more helpless, because at least broke people are used to operating without access to the financial system. Here's what most people don't understand. The payment networks that process your transactions are centralized, fragile, and increasingly vulnerable. Visa processes over 150 million transactions per day. If their systems go down, half of consumer spending in America stops instantly. MasterCard, American Express, Discover. They're all single points of failure, and they've all experienced outages, brief ones so far. But outages, nonetheless. The shift toward cashless society makes you completely dependent on these systems. Sweden is nearly cashless now. They're discovering what happens when the power goes out, when the internet fails, when the payment networks crash. People can't buy anything, the economy freezes. And there's no backup system because they eliminated cash as a backup. They put all their eggs in the digital basket, and now they're vulnerable to any disruption. Your credit card is actually 3 separate systems that all have to work. Your bank has to authorize the transaction, the payment network has to route it, the merchant's bank has to accept it. If any one of these 3 fails, your card doesn't work. Multiply this by millions of transactions per second and you have a system so complex, so interdependent, that failure is inevitable. It's not if, it's when. The next financial crisis won't look like 2008. It will be faster, more digital, more complete, when liquidity freezes in the banking system, when counterparty risk makes banks unwilling to process transactions, when the plumbing of finance seizes up, your credit cards will stop working. Not because you did anything wrong, not because you're broke, but because the system itself has failed. Cyber attacks are increasing in sophistication. Ransomware gangs have already hit payment processors, hospitals, utilities. It's only a matter of time before they successfully attack the payment net. Works themselves. Imagine a coordinated attack on Visa, MasterCard, and the major banks simultaneously. The entire economy would stop. No transactions, no commerce, no economic activity, just chaos. The power grid is fragile, aging infrastructure, increasing demand, extreme weather. When the grid goes down, payment systems go down with it. You can't swipe a card without electricity. You can't process digital payments without internet. The entire house of cards depends on reliable power and data networks, and both are more vulnerable than ever. Here's what the prepared know that you don't. Cash is insurance against system failure. Precious metals are insurance against currency failure. But most importantly, having alternatives to digital payment systems is insurance against being completely locked out of the economy. The people who will survive the next crisis are the ones who aren't entirely dependent on systems. That can be turned off with a keystroke. The government can freeze your accounts, the banks can limit withdrawals. The payment networks can crash, but physical assets, cash, gold, silver, barter networks, these can't be turned off remotely. They exist outside the digital control grid. And when that grid fails, they're the only things that will still work. You need 3 things immediately: cash in hand, not in the bank; physical currency you can access when the system fails; alternative payment methods, whether that's precious metals, Bitcoin, or barter goods, and connections with people who produce real goods and services. Because when digital payments stop, human relationships become the new currency. Make sure you resubscribe to this channel and share this video with everyone who thinks their credit cards will always work. Because the next video will show you exactly how to build a financial backup system, how much cash to keep, where to keep it, what assets survive payment system failures, and how to position yourself before the networks go dark. This isn't paranoia, this is preparation, and the difference between the two is timing.